Hey guys, Fitzmonk TV here, aka G33, back here with a little bit of a bonus segment of the Legit Shoot podcast for you guys. I know, it's been a while. It's been so long that I haven't even changed my layout. This was the layout we had for, what was the last pay-per-view? Hell in a Cell. You know, when Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre faced for the WWE Championship. That's how long it's been since I recorded a podcast episode. And this is not even a full-length podcast. So, forgive me. Life is crazy. I really don't know what else to say. Well, life is crazy, man. You know, trying to get through it, trying to survive. But I do have a small little video topic. You know, wanted to make something for you guys for this week. So, we're going to be talking a little bit about Money in the Bank. I'm not going to be talking about Raw or SmackDown. I really just don't want to get into it. I really haven't been watching WWE programming as of late. So, I've been keeping up, but, you know, not to the point where I've even wanted to turn on the camera and do a review. But we'll get back to the normal podcasting schedule here in the next couple of weeks, especially with Money in the Bank. But I wanted to talk about the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, and specifically why I believe Big E Langston, well, he's not even called Big E Langston, he's called Big E. Why I think Big E should win it, right? Why he should win it. And I feel like if WWE was to follow the format I am about to lay out to you guys in this video, WWE can make Big E one of the biggest stars in the entire company in the span of one night. All right, so let's get into it. So we know at Money in the Bank, in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, right now we have Ricochet, Matt Riddle, John Morrison, Drew McIntyre, Big E, and Kevin Owens. Those are the 6 names right now. The 2 other names will be filled in on SmackDown later this week. Right, and the thing about it is there's really no clear-cut favorite about who's going to win. We know on SmackDown there'll be 2 qualifying matches, one between Shinsuke Nakamura and Baron Corbin for the millionth time this year, and Seth Rollins and Cesaro, they continue their rivalry. Who cares, really? There's really no clear-cut favorite on who's going to win Money in the Bank, right? Ricochet, it would be great for him, definitely with the way he's been booked. Ricochet winning it would make a lot of people happy, right? It would make him into a star. And the thing is, a lot of people would already agree Ricochet should already be a main event star, but because of how he's been booked over the last couple years on the main roster, he's never reached that threshold. We know he has the talent. We know he has the agility. We know that he's one of the best high flyers in the history of the company, but he's never been booked properly. And Ricochet winning it would, definitely make for a great story. He is an underdog, and it would be great to see him get that opportunity, but I just don't see him winning it. Riddle, I don't see him winning it because I feel like they're going to continue with the storyline with him and Randy Orton, RK Bro, and eventually they're going to become the Raw Tag Team Champions. John Morrison, I don't think John Morrison is going to win it, right? Just because I feel like he's just there for, a big high-flying spot, right? Drew McIntyre, he could definitely win it just because he is one of WWE's top baby faces, and it wouldn't surprise me. Especially they could always go with the storyline of Drew getting the ultimate payback on Bobby Lashley or Roman Reigns, right? By getting Money in the Bank and then cashing in. Remember, he's not allowed to face Bobby Lashley again for the WWE Championship as long as Lashley is WWE Champion. So McIntyre winning the Money in the Bank and then cashing in on Lashley or cashing on Roman Reigns, who defeated him at Survivor Series last year, that would be, the ultimate payback. Right? He is a babyface at the end of the day. I think it would make a lot of people unhappy, and I don't want to see it personally. I think Drew should just kind of lay low until the WWE draft, and then he gets sent over to SmackDown. I think he needs a fresh start. He's faced almost everybody on the Raw roster. He's had his time as WWE champion, and I think it's time for him to move to SmackDown, start some new rivalries, and then, potentially be built up for a potential Universal Championship run at some point. Kevin Owens. You guys know how much I love Kevin Owens. I would have no problem with Kevin Owens winning Money in the Bank. I've been saying it for months that Kevin Owens needs to be a prize fighter once again. He's one of the best baby faces in the company, in my opinion, and I think he should stay a baby face, but I want to see him going after titles. I want to see him become a champion again. It feels like forever since Kevin Owens was last champion, and I don't even remember the last title he held. I think it may have been the United States Championship on SmackDown, but to be honest, I don't know. I can't really think that far back. It's been a long time since KO won a title in WWE, and I want to see him win a title again here soon. But like I said, I'm not going to really get into Rollins or Cesaro, Nakamura, Corbin. I don't see any of those people really winning it either. But the big name, like I said, I want to talk about is Big E. Big E, we know that WWE has been giving him this singles push, right? They separated him from the New Day in the WWE draft, and they had Big E go to SmackDown. Kofi and Xavier, they stayed as a tag team on Raw, and currently they still are a tag team, but we know that Kofi is challenging Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship at Money in the Bank, which I'm very excited about. And you guys know, for anybody who's been watching this podcast for any duration of time, I've always said that Kofi Kingston is a main event player. Honestly, all three members of the New Day, they could shine as single stars. They honestly, Xavier Woods is highly underrated in the ring. Remember how great that match Xavier Woods and Matt Riddle had on Raw a couple weeks ago. Kofi Kingston, I always tell people, go look back at his WWE Championship run, right? It was actually a really good reign. When Kofi's not focusing on looking like a fool, making jokes, right, throwing pancakes around, the guy is really, really good when he's serious, and he backs it up in the ring. Kofi Kingston versus Drew McIntyre about a month ago on Monday Night Raw was the best match on WWE television that I've seen all year. I'm talking about, WWE TV. I'm not talking about pay-per-views. I'm talking about WWE TV. It was a fantastic match. And that's why one of the reasons why I'm so excited for Bobby Lashley and Kofi Kingston. Because we know how good Bobby Lashley is in the ring. We know how good Kofi Kingston is in the ring. And if you give them 20 to 25 minutes at Money in the Bank with that crowd, and that crowd is going to be on Kofi's side, right? It could be similar to Kofi Mania a couple years ago. I could definitely see that crowd in Texas on Kofi's side. Kofi. I feel like they could put on a tremendous match. I wouldn't even be mad if Kofi won. You guys know I want to get Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, but based on the reports, we still have no idea if Lesnar is coming back. No idea. We know that Lesnar was in negotiations, and I'm willing to bet, in my opinion, they probably will ink a deal, but at this moment, they have not inked any deal, right? So, just going under the assumption that we aren't getting Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, that means we wouldn't get Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. Something else would have to happen. This is where the whole Big E thing comes to play. And I feel like you guys, know where I'm coming from with this. One of the biggest nights in WWE history was Money in the Bank, I believe 2016. That was the night when all three members of the Shield were WWE champion on the same night. Roman Reigns came in as WWE champion. He had a great match with Seth Rollins. Rollins, who had just come back from injury a couple of months earlier, right? Rollins beat him with the pedigree clean. 1, 2, 3, won the WWE Championship. Then Dean Ambrose, who had won Money in the Bank earlier in the night, cashed in on Seth Rollins and became WWE champion in one of my favorite Money in the Bank cash-ins ever. I love JBL's reaction on commentary. Are you kidding me? What are we going to do with this lunatic as champion? The crowd going absolutely wild. The pure emotion on Dean Ambrose's face, right? Because that was a moment people had been waiting for years to happen. Everyone knew that Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins were the two big stars of the Shield. Everyone knew that those two were people that were going to be built as faces of the company going forward. But it's not like Dean Ambrose was the lone man out. It's just that there was many, especially in the company, that didn't view Dean Ambrose on the same level as Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. But Dean Ambrose, especially since he spent all those years as a babyface, he was a fan favorite, he was entertaining, he was great in the ring, and people wanted to see him get that big moment. And when he did, Everybody went crazy, and we were all so happy. It's one of the reasons why I love that cash-in so much. The emotion from the fans, the emotion from Dean Ambrose, everything about that moment is great, especially with the narrative of all three members of the Shield being WWE champion at one point in that evening. And then, of course, we got the triple threat match a month later. Now, here you guys know where I'm going with this, right? It's always a special story when it involves stablemates. Betraying each other or winning championships off each other or rivalries or anything like that. We have heard the rumors. We know that it is very likely that the WWE draft will be taking place the week after SummerSlam in August, which is only about a month and a half away. And it has been heavily rumored by multiple sources that Big E is rumored to be put on Monday Night Raw. That wouldn't really surprise me. Even though I'm not against Big E versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship at some point this year on SmackDown, we may not get it. Right? Because Big E will most likely go to Monday Night Raw in the draft. That would, of course, give him the opportunity to realign with the New Day, right? Because remember, the New Day were just separated. They weren't broken up as a group. They were separated because they got drafted to separate brands. So, put Big E back on Monday Night Raw, you can easily have him, reform with the New Day. And I've always said there's no problem with having stablemates or having members of a stable go after singles gold. I said this, you don't need to break Kofi Kingston up from the New Day just because he's going after the WWE Championship. It's just that he's having more of a singles focus. He was WWE Champion 2 years ago and still a member of the New Day. Only thing with me is I just say that the New Day, you just got to dumb down some of the corniness, right? Because there's times, as much as I love the New Day, they do become a little bit cringe. This is what you do with Big E, right? You have Big E win the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Right now, like I just said, there's a reason why I went through all those names. Outside of probably Drew McIntyre, there's really not a clear-cut favorite. And I don't even think McIntyre is going to win the match. There's really no favorite here, You can make arguments for all of these men in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. You can also do the same thing for the woman, but, that's another video. You have Big E win the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Then, the main event of Money in the Bank should be Kofi Kingston and Kofi Kingston and Bobby Lashley. All right, I know a lot of people are gonna be like, no, it should be Edge versus Roman Reigns. Sure, I don't think anybody's really gonna complain if you do Edge and Roman Reigns before Lashley and Kofi Kingston, especially if you do what I tell you, what I think the company should do, right? I think WWE can make Money in the Bank into one of the best pay-per-views, in recent memory, if they do what I'm saying they should. I would have Kofi Kingston defeat Bobby Lashley in the main event of Money in the Bank. Give us a 20 to 25 minute classic like I know they can, right? Have Kofi Kingston win the WWE Championship, right? The crowd's going wild. They're chanting Kofi, Kofi, right? Xavier's there celebrating. All of a sudden, Big E comes out, right? He has the Money in the Bank briefcase with him, but it doesn't look like he's going to cash in at all. He's just coming out to celebrate, right? Because you can just say, oh, Big E will probably use the Money in the Bank briefcase on Roman Reigns or whoever's the Universal Champion, right? Instead, he's here just to celebrate with his brother Kofi. But all of a sudden, right, Big E has Kofi on his shoulders. Kofi's holding the WWE Championship up proud. All of a sudden, everything goes silent as Big E slams Kofi Kingston down to the floor. Xavier Woods sitting in shock. Very similar to when Seth Rollins took the chair and hit Roman Reigns in the back when he turned his back on his brother on that night in 2014. You guys see where I'm going with this? Xavier Woods is Dean Ambrose in that moment, in absolute shock. What the hell is going on? Kofi Kingston, after a grueling WWE Championship match, after finally reclaiming the WWE Championship after all these years, right? This is supposed to be his night, his moment, a night of celebration for the New Day. All of a sudden comes crashing down as another member of the New Day betrays a brother. Xavier Woods in shock goes after Big E. Big E takes Xavier Woods, hits him with the big ending. All of a sudden, Big E is asking for a referee, demanding a referee comes out here. Kofi Kingston struggling to get to his feet in absolute fatigue after the grueling match with Bobby Lashley and then being slammed down and in absolute emotional shock of what his best friend just did to him. Big E, with a crazed look on his face, gives the briefcase to Mike Rome, and he says, I'm cashing in right here, right now. The crowd in Texas is absolutely shocked. Cannot believe what they are seeing. Seeing the New Day explode and implode in front of their own eyes. Everybody on social media going crazy. But, Big E doesn't care about any of that right now. All he cares about is becoming WWE champion. Big E takes Kofi Kingston up, hits him with a big ending. The referee goes for the cover. 1, 2, 3. We have a new WWE champion, Big E. For years, people have always said that Big E has the most potential out of all members of the New Day. He has the look, he has the power, he has it all. And maybe he does. He has finally fulfilled his destiny. He has finally fulfilled his potential. Big E's the WWE champion. And that night, WWE has just created one of the biggest heels, one of the greatest heel turns in the history of the company. And then it will be something that everybody will be talking about going into Monday Night Raw, going to SmackDown for weeks and months to come. People are going to be talking about the night when the New Day, one of the greatest tag teams, one of the greatest factions in WWE history, absolutely imploded at Money in the Bank 2021. Come on. The next night on Monday Night Raw, back with live crowds. The first Raw post-COVID with full attendance, with fans everywhere. Big E comes out. He is booed out of the fucking building. Everybody's like, why, Big E? Why? Why, Big E? Why? And then you build the story up going to SummerSlam. Big E versus Kofi Kingston for the WWE Championship. Some would argue you can also do Big E versus Bobby Lashley versus Kofi Kingston for the WWE Championship. But either way, it doesn't matter. But it sets you up perfectly going into the fall with the WWE Championship scene. It will be absolutely me. We talk about Roman Reigns and how good he is as the head of the table. How great he is as the number one heel in the company. Well, if you do it this way, Big E might become the new number one heel in the WWE. Tell me that's not epic storytelling right there. Everyone's remember, it was just earlier this year that Big E was the favorite to win the Men's Royal Rumble. There was many people that thought that Big E was going to be the one to go on and face Roman Reigns for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania in Tampa. It didn't happen, but a lot of people thought it would. And some people still believe Big E could be the one to take that title from Roman Reigns, right? If I'm somebody that works for WWE and I'm listening to this podcast right now, I would absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, do what I just told you. Especially if you're not going to be able to get Brock Lesnar to face Bobby Lashley at SummerSlam. I feel like this is the next best thing. WWE has something very, very special. And I know, Vince McMahon doesn't want to break up the New Day. He'll break up every other tag team in that division. He don't care. But, the New Day is very special to Vince McMahon. But tell me that story right there would be awesome. And then, maybe a couple years down the line, you could have another story of the New Day coming back together. But right now, especially when you need something to bring the spotlight and the attention back to WWE, I feel like you need something crazy to happen, especially with how bad the ratings are. Raw is an absolute mess. SmackDown is okay some weeks, but SmackDown isn't even that good, on a consistent basis. They're getting 1.7 in the ratings. Very similar ratings to Raw, and they're on Fox, a more major network. The WWE product right now is just not that good. Even NXT has its weaknesses. As much as I love NXT's women's division, right? NXT right now, it's just WWE needs something big to happen. Something to have everybody talking in the wrestling industry. Something to take away from all the attention that AEW is getting and all these other companies are getting. And I feel like Big E winning the men's Money in the Bank ladder match and then turning on Kofi Kingston, right? And cashing in on Kofi Kingston, who just won the WWE Championship. I feel like that would make for an absolute epic moment. And then going to SummerSlam with a potential Big E versus Kofi Kingston feud. You could have John Cena versus Roman Reigns on the SmackDown side of things with Sasha Banks and Bianca, the rematch we've been waiting for since WrestleMania, right? I feel like that would definitely give WWE a huge string of momentum to take going to the later months of the summer. I don't know if WWE, will do it. I don't trust them to do it. But if I was in WWE's creative team right now, I would be pushing as hard as possible for this story. This would be something epic. Epic that people would be talking about for years and years to come. So let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Do you guys agree with me with my little fancy booking? I know usually when I do fancy booking, it's always about the women's division and Sasha Banks, something like that. But man, I was just thinking how epic it would be if Kofi Kingston won the WWE Championship at Money in the Bank just to get cashed in by Big E. I feel like it would be absolutely epic. And for years, people have been talking about, because the New Day have been together now for close to a decade. It was 2014, 2015 when the New Day was formed. So people have always been talking about, what if they did a New Day breakup story? Like, I feel like this would be the best way to do it. And it would be absolutely epic, right? But let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Who do you guys think is going to win the men's Money in the Bank ladder match? Like I said, we'll be talking about it more on the podcast and the reviews in the weeks to come. Hopefully we can get back to normal scheduling here, because I know you guys miss the reviews and the live streams. I miss making videos for you guys. But I wanted to just, come on and talk for a little bit about, this idea that I had. So let me know what you guys think. Give me guys your thoughts in the comment section. Other than that, guys, that's about all I got for you guys today. Leave a like on the video if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. Hit the bell next to my name, Fitzmonk TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. I'm going to get out of here. You guys stay safe and healthy, y'all. Peace.